Thank you, Senator Reid. Senator Fischer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, General. Thank you for putting yourself forward to continue to serve your country. As you are aware, there's ongoing efforts to force the Department of Defense to vacate portions of key bands of the electromagnetic spectrum, particularly the lower 3 gigahertz and the 7 to 8 gigahertz bands. General Caine, do you agree that the Department of Defense should have a meaningful co-leadership in any interagency determinations about the future use of federal spectrum?
Senator, thanks for that question. You know, there are certain elements of the spectrum that have unique physics associated with them that can impact our combat capabilities, so we certainly want to have a voice in the conversation.
Do you believe that it should be a co-leadership, though? Not just a seat at the table, but because of the exquisite assets that the department has and your knowledge of what those are, that you would need to have that co-leadership position?
Senator, you asked what the views of the department was, mindful that I'm not in the job yet, and if confirmed, I'd have that conversation with the secretary about co-leadership related to that.
What are the risks to national security if the department is forced to vacate those spectrum bands?
Well, Senator, some of that may be reserved for a conversation in closed session at some point in the future, but certainly if we lose portions of that spectrum, we'll lose some exclusivity related to our combat capability, and certainly, one, don't want to tip that off to our adversaries who might be listening, but two, would rather talk about that in closed session.
I look forward to having those discussions with you if you are confirmed, sir. General Caine, for the first time in history, the United States faces 2 nuclear peer adversaries in China and in Russia. And yet our planned nuclear force was decided back in 2010 when the threat environment looked very, very different, and it hasn't been reconsidered since then. For example, just over the past few years, China surpassed the U.S. in the number of ICBM launchers it possesses. Russia has suspended the New START treaty, and nuclear saber rattling has been a defining feature of its invasion to Ukraine. North Korea has claimed to test the first solid fuel ICBM. I'm concerned that our current programs or record may not be sufficient to address these future threats, or these current threats, let alone future threats. So if confirmed, how would you work with the Secretary, the services, STRATCOM, to identify and address any insufficiencies so that our nuclear deterrent would remain credible?
Well, Senator, and it must remain credible. We must invest in the deterrent side of our nuclear triad, and there's a lot of work to be done there. And if confirmed, I look to work with the incredible leadership at STRATCOM. We have a great commander out there who's very smart, dedicated, and technically all over the program out there. And this will be an area of significant emphasis to make sure that we're fielding the capabilities that we need.
Have you had an opportunity to review the Strategic Posture Commission's 2023 report?
Senator, I've not.
I would highly recommend that you do so. It very clearly articulates projected threats. It identifies potential gaps in our capabilities, and it makes a number of actionable recommendations, many of which were included in last year's NDAA. Finally, General Caine, the Nuclear-Armed Sea Launch Cruise Missile, or SLCM, is a Navy program of record that has been supported by this committee on a strong bipartisan basis. I was pleased to see you affirm the importance of SLCM in your advanced policy questions. Can you explain to this committee the importance of providing the President with additional theater nuclear options such as SLCM-N?
Well, Senator, when we look at the global laydown of nuclear weapons that you alluded to, the United States having an additional option is a key and essential component to our overall deterrence, and that's where SLCM-N fits into into the equation.
So it's important that our commander-in-chief would have those options?
Well, I won't get out in front of the president. It may be a decision that he has a different view on, but certainly the joint force should offer him that option for his consideration based on the needs of the deterrent capabilities.
And it is a program of record.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.